Rugby is one of the most physically demanding sports in the world, especially for forwards like you. Whether you are winning a scrum, bursting through a tackle, or dominating the ruck, your physical performance is dependent on three key components: explosive power, raw strength, and quick reactive movements. And this is exactly what today's video is about.
This session is specifically intended for rugby forwards like you, with an emphasis on exercises that strengthen these attributes you need on the field. We have picked 6 essential exercises to address this characteristic. Power, highlighted with 3 explosive movements that mirror the intensity of scrums and tackles. Strength exercises that provide the basis to resist pressure and drive through opponents. And finally, plyometric drills to develop your ability to react.
For the first exercise, it will be push press using a barbell. So basically it targets multiple muscle groups and promoting strength, power and explosiveness while enhancing balance and coordination. So for the main muscles involved, for the upper body it will be deltoids, upper trapezius. For the lower body, it will be quadriceps, gluteus maximus. For the technique, so starting position, you want to have a close pronated wide grip and position it feet hip width apart directly below the rack bar. So the bar will rest on the anterior deltoids and clavicle. After that, you will unrack by extending your hips and knees, positioning feet shoulders width apart on the platform with toes slightly outward. So for the phase 1 preparation, which is your dip, so you want to flex your hips and knees moderately, lowering your bar to a quarter squat position. Your feet will remain flat and torso upright. So phase 2, which is basically your outward movement phase. You would do is extend your hips and knees forcefully until fully extended. After that, you will push the bar overhead by extending your elbows and adducting your shoulders. So your phase 3 will be the catch. So you continue to press until your elbows reaches full extension, with the bar slightly behind your ears. Basically, your bicep will be aligning with your ear. And keep your torso erect, head neutral, and feet flat. So for the final phase will be your downward movement phase. So what you want to do is lower the bar with controlled motion by flexing your hips and knees, and return to the starting position. At the end of the set, remember to step forward and rack the bar. So for breathing, so what you want to do is basically during the dip phase, you want to inhale and exhale during the dry phase. For spotters, basically there's no spotters required on the platform. If the control is lost forward, you will just guide the barbell down to the front of the body. If control is lost backwards, just release the grip and let it drop behind you.
Lastly but not least, we have the do's and don'ts. Firstly, always make sure that the rack is placed on shoulder level, and we rack the bar after every set. Finally, ensure that the starting position always starts at the clavicle and not too low.
So for the FICC, what you will be doing is you try to do this for 3 times a week. So afterwards, you'll be doing this around 3 sets of 4 to 6 reps. Recommended RPE will be around 8 to 10, since it's a power training. The rest in between sets will be around 2 to 5 minutes.
Okay, so for the next exercise, it will be the power clean. So power clean targets multiple muscle groups, and also it helps in building strength, power, and explosive power. So mostly for power clean, it will be more on power-based training. So additionally, it works on your balance and your coordination, and muscles involved will be the core muscles, lower body will be your quads, hamstrings, glutes, and calves. Then your upper body will be your traps, your lats, and your deltoids, and also your forearm and your grip. So safety cues, of course, to maintain proper form throughout the lift, like avoid having rounded back and too arch, and also lifting with your arms most of the time. So if you're unfamiliar with power clean, do start with lightweight and gradually increase the weight as you progress through. So for phase 1, it will be feet hip width apart near the barbell and lower your body to a squat position. So when you do a squat position, your grip has to be pronated. So technically your palms facing your legs, and then hands should be slightly wider than shoulder width apart. So same thing, proper form, neutral back posture, ensure core is engaged, and inhale as you pull, and then exhale at the top of the pull. Okay, so for the second phase of the lift is when you lift the bar as you stand up. So from a squat position, and then you're going to stand up. So as you stand up, you keep the weights close and pull the bar along your shin and your knee, above your knee level, and then keep your core engaged. So for your phase 3, bend the knee slightly to prepare for the transition, which is the catch phase. So phase 4, then pull and I would say place your body under the bar so that the bar will rest slightly on your clavicle area. Then your elbows will just snap forward. And then throughout that phase, you are on a quarter squat position. And then that's where you are going to catch the bar and also rest the bar on your shoulders. And then when you inhale, as you catch, and then exhale when you stand tall. And for phase 5 is just standing tall and balance yourself once you have your barbell on your clavicle. Okay, so for the do's and don'ts, so make sure your grip is always pronated. So when you're gripping, make sure it's this way and not like side by side. And then also for your range of motion, throughout the power clean is more of your lower body movement, like one motion. So full body motion. So, but mainly you are not supposed to lift with your arms only. So throughout it's just your power from your legs and then the hip thrust. So for spotter wise, this exercise you don't need a spotter. So if you really cannot bear the weight, we will just drop and release the weight. So for FITT, it will be frequency, it will be around 2 to 3 times a week. And then the type of training will be power. The reps and sets will be 2 to 3 sets. The repetitions will be around between 4 to 6 repetitions.
So for the next exercise, back squat jump with a barbell is a power exercise rooted in evidence-based training principles. This explosive movement develops lower body power, specifically targeting the quadriceps, hamstring, glutes, and calves. So for the equipment setup, use a barbell with appropriate weight plates on either end. Position the barbell on a squat rack at a shoulder height. Ensure safety clips secure the weights. For demonstration, start by positioning yourself under the barbell with it resting across your upper back. Grip the barbell firmly with both hands, elbow pointing down, but make sure you have a close pronated grip. Okay? Unrack the barbell by standing up and stepping back, maintaining an upright posture. Perform a control squat, and as you reach the bottom, drive through the heels explosively to jump forward. Then land softly by bending your knees. Teaching and safety cues. Feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly pointed out, and barbell position across upper back. The end position is the same as start position. So after landing softly, knees slightly bent. For the upward phase, drive forcefully through the heels to extend knees and hips lifting off the ground. So for the downward phase, descent and landing. Land softly on the balls of the feet, absorbing impact by bending the knees. Breathing instruction, inhale deeply as you squat down and exhale forcefully as you explode outward into the jump. For the range of motion, squat down until thighs are parallel to the floor. Avoid overextending on a jump. Maintain control. For spotting, a spotter can stand behind the lifter for support, as they can assist by guiding the elbows or catching the barbell if the form fails. For any correction tips, ensure knees track over toes to avoid valgus knee collapse. Maintain even weight distribution across the feet during exercise. Engage the core by bracing and tightening the abdominal muscles to stabilize the spine. For frequency, at least do 2 to 3 times per week. This exercise is a power training exercise, and for the sets, you can do at least 3 sets of 4 to 6 reps.
Alright, today we're going to be performing the barbell back squat. It's a compound exercise that primarily targets your gluteus maximus, hamstring, and quadriceps. We're going to go over the steps to ensure that we maintain proper form, safety, and control throughout the whole movement. For the setup, we're going to start with grasping the bar with a close pronated grip. Alright, thumb under the bar. Then you're going to step under the rack bar, positioning it on your upper trapezius muscle. You're going to place your feet parallel under the bar, let your elbows backwards and upwards to create a stable shelf for the bar to rest on. Now extend your hips and knees to lift the bar off the rack. With the bar on your trapezius, on your shoulders, you're going to step back from the rack with your feet shoulder width apart. Alright, you can take 2 steps back. Toes will be slightly pointed outwards or parallel to each other, whichever is most comfortable for you. Ensure that your knees align with your feet, and this will be your starting position. Okay, for the downward movement phase, you're going to begin by flexing your knees and hips to lower your body. Aim to lower yourself until your thighs are parallel to the floor. So you're going to keep a 90-degree angle, keeping your torso as upright as possible. Imagine you're sitting back into a chair, keeping your knees aligned with your feet and ensuring that your lumbar and cervical spine remain neutral. Your feet should stay in full contact with the floor throughout the whole movement. Alright, for the upward movement phase, now you're going to extend your hips and knees to return to the starting position, keeping your torso upright. Throughout the whole movement, you're going to maintain dynamic joint alignment. Alright, keep your cervical spine straight to protect your knees and back. When you're ready to rack the bar, you're going to step forward, position your feet as they were initially, and carefully place the bar back onto the rack. During the exercise, remember to breathe deeply and exhale during the upward phase, and inhale as you lower yourself back down. For safety, always use the collars on the barbells to secure the weights. 2 spotters are recommended, 1 on each side of the bar with their hands hovering below it without touching the bar. This way, they are ready to assist if needed. For our FITT frequency, we're going to be doing this exercise around 2 times a week. For intensity, we're going to go for 4 to 6 reps. And for your rest time between sets, you're going to go for 2 to 3 minutes. The type of exercise this is a strength exercise.
Alright, right now we're going to be learning how to perform the deadlift.
This exercise is great for targeting the primary muscle groups, the gluteus maximus, hamstrings, and your quadriceps. Let's go through the steps carefully and ensure that we have proper form, safety, and effectiveness. So for the setup, you're going to start by grasping the bar with a closed pronated grip, slightly wider than shoulder width. All right. Then you're going to stand in an erect position with your feet shoulder width apart, toes pointing straight ahead, and knees slightly flexed. Your arms should be fully extended, elbows pointed out, and the bar should rest against your thighs. Engage your core to maintain a straight back, and this will be your starting position. So for the downward movement phase, now you're going to lower the bar to the floor in a controlled motion by flexing your hips and your knees at the same rate. Keep the bar as close to your thighs and shins as possible as you move the bar down, and keep a neutral lumbar spine. Your elbows should stay fully extended and pointing out to the sides, with your shoulders slightly over or just ahead of the bar. Keep your head neutral in line with your spine, and touch the plates to the floor briefly, then get ready to move it back up. For the upward phase, as you begin the upward movement, you're going to extend your knees, your hips with control, maintaining torso angle in relation to the floor. Make sure your hips don't rise faster than your shoulders. Keep the bar as close to your shins as possible and shift your weight slightly back towards your heels. As soon as the bar rises above your knees, shift your weight forward towards the balls of your feet, keeping your heels down. Continue extending your hips and knees until you're in a fully upright position with a neutral or slightly hyperextended torso. For your breathing during the exercise, remember to exhale during your upward phase and inhale on the way back down in your downward phase. Alright, for safety precautions, make sure you use collars on the barbells to secure the weights and maintain a dynamic joint alignment throughout the exercise. Keep your lumbar spine neutral and don't bend your elbows. A spotter isn't necessary as the barbell is close to the ground, but if you feel like you're losing control, simply let go and move out of the way. You can just drop the bar. For FITT, for frequency, we're going to be doing this exercise for about 2 to 3 times a week. For intensity, we're going to do 3 to 5 reps with a rest time of 2 to 3 minutes. And the type of exercise this is, the type of training this is, will be your strength training.
Okay, for the last exercise, it will be death jumps to box. So this is a type of plyometric exercise, which is an essential type of explosive training that helps to enhance your power and speed, which is critical for rugby players, especially towards people like you who typically engage in high-intensity movement exercises like tackling, sprinting, where explosiveness is a key towards driving into opponents, clearing rucks, as well as propelling forward quickly. So this exercise helps to train your body to absorb and generate force fast, which helps to improve your reactive strength, muscle elasticity, which is needed for strong and explosive performance on the field. This exercise mainly targets your lower body muscles, including your quadriceps, hamstrings, gluteus muscles like your gluteus maximus, medius, and minimus, calf muscles like your gastrocnemius and soleus, as well as your core muscles like your abdominals and lower back muscles. For this exercise, you will need 2 sturdy plyometric boxes and ensure that they are of a suitable height. And the surrounding area where you're going to be performing the exercise is clear of any obstructions. To perform this exercise, place 2 sturdy boxes 1 step away from each other. If you do not have enough boxes, use a bench just like in this video. For the starting position, stand on one of the box while you face the other, with your feet a little wider than hip width apart. Your toes should be pointing forward, spine kept in a neutral position, and your eyes looking slightly downwards, and being ready to step off the box by bracing your core. Next, the downward face. Stand on the box with one of your foot in the air and slightly off the edge, ready to drop. Initiate the fall by hovering your foot on the air and land on the floor with both feet together. Lower into a half or quarter squat once your feet is in contact with the ground. Extend your arms slightly behind you and prepare for the next jump. For the upward face, initiate a rapid triple extension as quickly as possible by extending your ankles, knees, and hips to jump off the ground as high as possible vertically onto the next box. Lastly, the landing face. Land softly on the balls of your feet and lower into a quarter squat. For breathing, inhale as you step off the box and exhale explosively as you push off the ground and jump to the next box. For full range of motion during takeoff, ensure that you bend your knees and hips slightly to absorb the impact softly and keep your movement smooth and controlled. If you are new to this exercise, ensure that you have someone behind you to support or watch for your balance. For safety and precautions, ensure that you have a straight back throughout the movement, especially when you land, and avoid rounding your spine to increase stability. Make sure that your knees are in line with your toes as you land, not caving inwards or outwards to protect your knee joints. Remember to brace your core lightly, engage your abdominal muscles during takeoff and landing. Do this exercise for 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps with 2-minute rest in between sets for 2 to 3 times per week, and adjusting the box height based on your abilities, starting from lower boxes and increasing the height as you progress.